Bon matin, good morning. Well, the room is 2/3 full, which means it obviously was a very good night last night. Welcome to day 2 of the 30th anniversary conference of the C2P3. It's great to see you this morning. I'm sure you all had a great time last night, as I did, at our first night reception. I would like to thank once again our sponsors for yesterday evening, being BDO, Bruce Power, EY, Flatiron, Graham, OPG, SEMP, and WSP. And then obviously, I'm sure lots of folks had a great time at Belfast Love at the YLI event. And I'd also like to thank our sponsors for this morning's breakfast, being LIMAC. Thank you very much to all of our sponsors for last night's evening and this morning's breakfast. Now, before we move on to today's presentations, we want to take a few minutes to say a big thank you and recognize a number of people who have made significant contributions to the Council over the years and to, frankly, the P3 and infrastructure sector in Canada. And I want to start off first and foremost by talking about Mark Bain. So, as many of you heard yesterday, Mark is stepping down from the board next week after 20 years as a director, 6 of which as chair. Now, those 6 years were very, very busy years, and Mark had the opportunity to lead us with excellence through a number of very important initiatives, most importantly, obviously, navigating the Council through the pandemic and the Council's response to that very successfully. Mark also led us through the transition of our leadership and the recruiting of our new CEO, Lisa Mitchell, whom you've had a chance to meet, as well as through a very important strategic planning exercise, which ultimately led to a renewed and refreshed vision and mission for the Council and a renewal of our member engagement and a plan to make sure that the Council stays at the epicenter of all questions relating to P3s and infrastructure development in Canada. I've had the opportunity to work on several boards over the years. And Mark, I can't see you in the room. There you are. But I have to say that it has been an extraordinary experience working with you. You have been one of the very best chairs that I've had the chance to collaborate with. You led by federating a large group of people with diverse views in coming to an agreement on a common goal. You made sure that everyone had a voice and that you listened to everyone's perspective. But at the end of the day, you always found a way to get us to find a middle ground and row in the same objective and put the interests of the Council first. You have been incredibly collaborative, always invested, always committed, and you've given so much of yourself to the Council. So I want to thank you personally for the support that you have given to me and to all of the board members during your tenure with the Council. And the bat phone's being installed in both your home and downtown offices next week. In addition to Mark, there are some other board members who are stepping down this year, and we want to make sure that we are acknowledging and thanking them as well for their significant contribution. And so Elisabeth Yvon, Steve Nakin, Steve Small, and Beata Swist are stepping down from the board next week. I also want to take a few minutes to acknowledge a group of individuals who contributed significantly to the Council, who stepped down through the COVID pandemic. And obviously, we acknowledge them during our virtual online conferences, but now that we're all here in person, we wanted to make sure that we called them out and thank them for their contributions as well. First, our honorary chairman, John Manley. Second, Mark Romoff, our valiant and energetic CEO for more than 10 years. Cliff Inskip, who is a longtime director and led our awards program for many, many years. Denis Bourassa, Jack Davis, Jeff Fielding, Nick Hahn, Pierre Lavallée, Stéphane Maillot, Dave McFadden, Chris Murray, Lou Serafini, and Chantal Sorel. I'd like to note the Council is a small organization that punches way above its weight. In an organization like this, our volunteer board members are called upon to invest themselves, put their shoulders to the grindstone, and put a lot of time and effort into supporting the Council. So we really want to thank all of these individuals who have been very invested, directors, members of the board, and contributors to the C2P3 over the years. In addition, we also want to recognize the individuals who were the recipients of our Champion Award named during the pandemic, being Jim King, founder of Elliston Capital, David Podmore, founder and chair of Concert Infrastructure, and John MacArthur, former president and chairman, Kiewit Development. Please help me acknowledge all of them with a round of applause. And obviously, forgive us if there are folks that we have left off the list by mistake. As sad as it is to see people leave the Council, it is also a fantastic time of renewal. As Lisa pointed out in her speech yesterday, we are in the middle of a volatile but also very energetic period in our sector. And there's a lot of new and exciting things happening. And we want to make sure that the Council is engaged with all of you, with its members, with all of the stakeholders in the sector, and really at the forefront of stimulating conversations and finding solutions. Now, let's get day 2 started. Today is our final day together for the P3 2022 conference, so please make the most of all the networking opportunities. Take in a country profile in the International Cafe, set up one-on-one meeting on the conference app using the TIPSA delegate directory, celebrate our 2022 P3 champion Steve Nakin at today's luncheon, see the latest in tech and infra services in the innovations market, and don't forget to join us for some food and drink around 3 p.m. The drinking starts early today, 3 p.m., at our closing reception sponsored by Arcadis IBI Group and Ontario Construction Secretariat. Maintenant, il me fait plaisir de vous présenter Stéphanie Vaillancourt, présidente Capital, Opération et Maintenance de SNC-Lavalin. It is my pleasure now to introduce you to Stéphanie Vaillancourt, President, Capital and Operations and Maintenance, O&M at SNC-Lavalin. SNC-Lavalin is sponsoring today's first keynote speaker with a keynote address with Michael Fox on equity and economic reconciliation, the emerging power of Indigenous nations in infrastructure. And there are obviously many important issues for us to talk about at this year's conference, but Michael's presentation today is one many of us in the infrastructure sector really do need to listen to and hear. Sur ce, je passe la parole à Stéphanie. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.